Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today for a very special occasion. Both APT and Rocky Mountaineer are celebrating 30 years operating in Canada. My name is Tennille and I'm one of the APT Business Development Managers. And with me today, I have the lovely Amber from Rocky Mountaineer. Welcome, Amber, and congratulations on 30 years. Can you share with us the story of Rocky Mountaineer and how the service has actually evolved over the years?
Thanks, Tennille. Great to be here, and happy birthday to you as well. 30 years for both of us is an amazing milestone for us to achieve. So yes, 30 years ago, it was our birthday last year. We were founded in 1990 by Peter Armstrong, and we're based in Vancouver in Canada, and Peter is still very, very much involved in the business to this day. So 30 years, we've had it's been a remarkable journey for 30 years, and the company has grown from strength to strength. And you can see here some shots here of Peter from back in the day, originally, when he first started to the product that we are today. And Rocky Mountaineer is very much family owned, as I mentioned, business, and likewise for our guests and our staff, we all become part of the Rocky Mountaineer family after having experienced the journey.
It's a one-of-a-kind experience. Now, I know Rocky Mountaineer has been described as the greatest train journey in the world. Can you share with us a few experiences that guests can expect on board?
We have received that accolade, and to be honest, it is very, very well received and very well due. The product is spectacular, and it truly is a world-class railway journey. Guests on board can experience an incredibly high level of personalised service, and that's something that the guests always rave about after they come off the train. And one of the experiences that makes the journey so great, not only of course is the beautiful sightseeing and the scenery that you're experiencing in the Canadian Rockies, is our onboard hosts. And you can see a shot here of a couple of our crew, and they truly do make the experience. They are remarkable. They share history of where we're traveling through, stories of the local areas. They're engaging with the staff on board. One of my favorite stories of one of the onboard crew, I was fortunate enough to be on one of the last journeys, the very last journey, in fact, a couple of years ago, which is in the October, and that's the autumn time up there in Canada. And the onboard host that I had in my carriage, she was taking photographs out of the viewing platform, and I said to her, "You've been on the train since April. What is there still to be taking photos of?" And she said, "There's just every single day something new to see, and she just doesn't get sick of it." And I thought that was so fantastic. For me, I've experienced it a couple of times, but she has been on the train since April, and it was now October, and was still mesmerized by the scenery that she was traveling through. So you can imagine, if it's just your very first time, how you'll be blown away.
That says it all. And are there actually hosts in each of the carriages in Goldleaf?
Yes, there is. Yes, we have hosts on every single carriage, and we have storytellers in every carriage, and they'll be with the guests throughout the duration of the journey on Rocky Mountaineer.
Amazing. Well, let's take a look at a special video from one of the Rocky Mountaineer hosts.
Hi, my name's Matt. I'm an onboard host on the Rocky Mountaineer train. I'm here in Vancouver, British Columbia, in front of one of our Goldleaf cars. And I just want to congratulate APT on 30 years on tourism and hospitality, and can't wait to have you back on the rails soon.
Now, I know APT have guaranteed Goldleaf service on a lot of our itineraries in Western Canada. Can you share with us a few of the personal experiences that you've had travelling in Goldleaf?
Yeah, look, Tanel, it is a spectacular way to see the scenery in the gold leaf. And yes, the APT guests will always be in the gold leaf dome. There's a shot of me enjoying the outdoor viewing platform, which is where I spend a lot of time. And that is exclusive to the gold leaf domes, is that outdoor platform. And it's just spectacular to be out there and be breathing in that beautiful, fresh, crisp Canadian air. Perfect spotting vantage points for wildlife spotting, because of course that's very, very important in that part of the world. So the outdoor viewing platform is spectacular. Of course, those amazing big glass ceilings of a gold leaf dome is just has to be seen to be believed. And so there's a great shot there. And of course, the restaurant on board. So guests in Gold Leaf will go downstairs into the dining area, and dining in on board Rocky Mountaineer is absolutely a wonderful experience. All of the food and the wine is really focused on the local area that we're traveling through, and have had the opportunity to sample some beautiful Canadian produce while you're on board.
It's the ultimate way to experience the Rockies, isn't it, in Gold Leaf? It's fantastic. Now,
Really?
Amber, I am a bit of a foodie, which I know you are as well. Can you give us a sample of the menu that guests will enjoy on board in Gold Leaf?
Yeah, well, Tanil, food and wine is very, very important of all holidays. And food on board, as I mentioned before, on board Rocky Mountaineer is something that we're very well known for. Guests will not go hungry at all or thirsty while they're on board Rocky Mountaineer. A couple of my favorites, and I do like to, through all of my travels, is really sample foods from the local area. So guests will enjoy breakfast on board every day, and lunch, and of course snacks throughout. I think for breakfast, I will usually always go, and it's a bit of a cliche, but the pancakes with Canadian maple syrup.
Ooh.
It just go hand in hand, and it's such an amazing way to start your day. And for lunch, one of my favorites is the Canadian salmon, of course. Also a very famous, well-known meal option for up there, but it is rightly so something to enjoy.
You're making me hungry just talking about it. So I really think we need to be packing our stretchy pants for this trip, Amber. Don't you think? It sounds like we might need them.
Tip number one, absolutely, stretch your pants.
Absolutely. First thing I'll pack. Now, for the train buff watching today, what type of engine does the Rocky Mountaineer have, and what is actually special about the design of the train itself?
Yeah, so we do have a lot of people are interested in the trains themselves, and here's a shot here of one of our locomotives. So we actually have 9 locomotives in our fleet. They're all ex-Canadian National or Union Pacific locomotives. So they're pretty impressive in their size. They do weigh, for those that are interested, 117 tons, and they pull 3,000 horsepower, which makes sense because we have quite a long consist, sometimes traveling all the way up into the Rockies. So we do really need that horsepower to get us up with those locomotives. So in the fleet, we also have 26 of those gold leaf domes that we were just chatting about, and 16 of the silver leaf.
That sounds incredible. You're a wealth of information, Amber. Now, I do know we have different routes as well that guests can take. And one of the most popular would be the first passage to the west. Can you share a few of your personal experiences, guest experiences, and what type of wildlife might we see along the way?
Yeah, thanks, Jill. The first passage to the west is the most popular route that our guests will enjoy and take. And first passage to the west usually will start in Vancouver, into Kamloops, and then up into into Lake Louise and Banff. So first passage to the west follows the route from back in the day, the Canadian that were building the Canadian railways. So we will actually cross where the final nail was nailed down, which connected the east and the west of Canada, which is amazing in a country of that size. And that was done in the 1880s. So there's a huge amount of history along that first passage to the west. Great for wildlife spotting, and we mentioned the wildlife before, and this is something that people spend a lot of time looking at these beautiful big glass dome windows looking for the wildlife. And of course, bears. Bears are number one sight. One of my favorite experiences on the first passage to the west, though, is a lady, and her name is Doris, and she is very, very iconic, and she lives in a tiny little house along the railway tracks. And every single day, her and her little dog, and her little dog's name is Cedar Bear, and her and her little dog, Cedar Bear, wave as the train goes past. And she's out there for every single trip that she's out there waving to the guests. And it's just such a special moment to have one of the ladies that are living there in the little villages along the route welcoming Rocky Mountaineer as it goes through.
That's amazing. And I remember seeing my first bear in Canada in the wild, and I just completely lost my mind with excitement. It's very exciting. But along with bears, we could probably see there's deers, there's bighorn sheep, eagles, moose. Is there any other wildlife that we might see from the train?
There is, lots of different wildlife. Janelle, every day will be different, of course, in what you see. And it's always really fantastic when you do see that wildlife. The spring, early spring and the autumn departures towards the end of the year, the animals are quite active as well along the side, because they're coming out either out of hibernation or going back in. So they're on the sides foraging for their berries, and that's where I was lucky enough actually to see some bears as we were approaching into Banff. And
another top tip: we need a good camera, don't we, on this trip?
Pack the camera. I can't tell you how many photos you will take. It is, don't forget to pack your camera. And another great tip is to pack an extra battery, because you just will be taking a lot of photos. It truly is spectacular, and you just can't take a bad photo up there.
Good tip. Good tip. Another route that guests can take is Journey Through the Clouds. What is unique about this route?
Yeah, so Journey Through the Clouds takes guests into Jasper. So it's a little bit different. Jasper's not as well known as Banff and Lake Louise. However, it is a stunning, stunning destination in its own right. Jasper is beautiful, and this route does take you up journeying through the clouds. Some of my highlights of this itinerary is the Pyramid Falls, and the Pyramid Falls are glacial waters. Here's a shot here, and they're coming down. You can see they actually go underneath the train, and these falls are falling 90 meters down into the Thompson River. So this is a definite spot where you want to have your cameras ready, and this is where the storytellers and the onboard hosts come into their own, getting you all prepared to make sure you don't miss the sights coming up. So this is Pyramid Falls, and another highlight is on Journey Through the Clouds, which is really apt to its name, is Mount Robson, and that is the highest peak in the Canadian Rockies, and you will enjoy this kind of scenery when you are journeying through the clouds.
Breathtaking. Now, I know that Rocky Mountaineer has a brand new trip traveling through the US, which is very exciting. Can you share a few of the highlights?
We do, and this is really exciting for us. We've had so many guests in the past that have travelled with us in the Canadian Rockies, and they've always said, where to next? Where else can we go? And we haven't had another destination until now. So 2021, August of this year, we launch a new route, which is in the US, and that is in the southwest of the United States, and this is through the American Rockies. So the journey here is from Denver, Colorado. Guests will overnight in Glenwood Springs, and then finish up in Moab in Utah. So really, really important to us when we were launching a second route to make sure that it still had those foundations of what has made Rocky Mountaineer such a loved product. And whilst the scenery is different, it still is offering such a unique part of the world. And there's a lot of this area as well that you cannot see by road that you're following along on the train. So we're super excited about this and look forward to welcoming the APT guests as soon as we can get out there.
sounds fabulous to me. Rocky Mountaineer always evolving. And if anyone would like to take this journey, APT actually have a brand new itinerary taking in this journey and also ticking off 5 national iconic parks as well. Now, as you know, Amber, we are celebrating our 30th anniversary exploring Canada and Alaska. Can you talk about what has made APT such a valuable partner to work with over the years?
Oh, Neil, we have had such a fabulous relationship with APT over the years. And I think why and where it's been so great is the guests. We just love having the guests on board, and our onboard hosts and our storytellers know that when we have a group of the APT guests coming on board, it is guaranteed to be lots of fun, lots of laughs, very lively. So it's your guests that have made it, quite honestly, and it's been such a fabulous partnership over the years. We look forward to the next 30 years together.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, we'd like to thank the owner and founder of the Rocky Mountaineer, Peter Armstrong, and of course the wonderful crew at Rocky Mountaineer. And we do have a very special video message, so let's take a look at that.
Congratulations, APT, on 30 years of bringing your guests to Canada and Alaska. We love hosting your clients on our train, the Rocky Mountaineer. We've had many fabulous trips. For the last 30 years, you've done a phenomenal job of showing off our product to your customers. And we've done a great job making sure they've all had a lot of fun. It's been a great relationship. We look forward to the next 30 years working with you on other creative ideas.
Well, Amber, I think we might take some questions from the viewers. Let me have a look at the board and see if there's any questions there for us. Oh, we've got one from Rob. Is this tour where you get off overnight?
Yeah, that's right, Rob, it is. So guests don't sleep on board Rocky Mountaineer. We are an all daylight sightseeing service. So when you have that overnight break, if you're in Canada, it'll be in Kamloops, or in the US, and the new route will be in Glenwood Springs. You're actually sleeping in a hotel that night. So all the day is you're up in your seats, and very, very social sightseeing during the day.
I mean, you want to be awake for the beautiful scenery during the day, seeing the wildlife as well. And then, as you said, overnighting in Kamloops in a very comfortable hotel. Amazing.
Absolutely.
Let's take a look at another question. We have one from Andrew. How far do we travel on the Rocky Mountaineer each day?
Yeah, Andrew, thank you. The days start quite early, so you are on board before breakfast. So the days usually start around about 6 o'clock in the morning that you start. We travel at around about 45 kilometers an hour. So we call that Kodak speed because we want to give you plenty of time to be enjoying the scenery and taking those photos. And the day in the afternoon, usually we get to our destination at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So depending what's happening, but that's a general, how the general day flows.
And would I be lying in saying it's about 450 kilometres per day, Amber?
Yeah, that's pretty much bang on there.
That's a good guess. Well, hopefully we've answered your question, Andrew. Let's see if we have another one. We've got Lisa here. What sightseeing activities can you suggest to do when we are in Banff? I can help answer that one.
You want to answer that one? So my favourite, I love in Banff, I absolutely love going up the gondola. If you have some time, you can get the gondola to the top of Banff Mountain. The scenery up there is absolutely spectacular. Breathtakingly spectacular up there. There's beautiful cafe, restaurant up there, beautiful walks. There is a lot to see and do, even in the town of Banff itself.
I agree. I could spend 2 weeks in Banff, and when we stay there with APT, we're staying at the Fairmont, right in the heart of the national park there. We have views from the rooms, and the Fairmont is known as the Castle in the Rockies for over 130 years. It's magnificent. And we actually have freedom of choice activities there. So when you're traveling with APT, you could do the Banff Gondola, as Amber said, which is you get some great photos on that day. You can also do the helicopter ride over Banff, over the Rockies, and again, getting some great photographs. We go up for about 20 minutes there. We also do the float boat trip. So you could choose to do that option if you wanted to, which is very relaxing, and you have the opportunity perhaps to spot wildlife along the way. Or my favourite, you could relax in the mineral pool at the Fairmont. So relax and revive. It is a holiday, so it is all about relaxation as well. So we do have freedom of choice in APT on our itinerary. So it's really like tailoring your own holiday to suit your own needs and wants. So a lot of choice there. So hopefully we've answered your question there. Let's take a look to see if we have another question that's come through. How many days would we need to explore Western Canada? Amber, do you want me to go with that one?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it, Tia.
With APT, we have a lot of different itineraries that you can actually choose from. So it just depends how much time that you have. But APT's most popular trip would be the Rockies Odyssey, which is 22 days. So it ticks off all the must-sees and do's for you. It's an easy pace with a lot of 2-night stops. And of course, it includes the amazing Rocky Mountaineer, as well as a 7-night cruise in Alaska. And of course, we're traveling through the Rockies on a luxury coach as well. So hopefully that's answered your question. Let's see if we have another question. Maybe, oh, here we go. We've got another question from Annie Amber. What wildlife will you see on board the Rocky Mountaineer?
So Annie, every day could be different. It really does, because obviously it is wildlife, so we just don't know what we're going to see. The main ones that you will see up there in that region is of course the bears, lots of bighorn sheep, mountain goats, moose. So there is a lot of the bigger animals, and then of course the birds, a lot of eagles, and the so many bird life up there as well. So there is really a lot of wildlife to see while you're on the train. And then of course once you're in the Rockies as well, once you're there on the ground and experiencing all of those different areas that Tennille was just talking about, there's constantly wildlife all around.
They're not on the payroll, so we can't guarantee it, but you have a good chance of seeing them. Absolutely.
That's true.
Well, thank you so much, Amber. You have been incredible, and thank you to everyone watching. If you would like some more information on Canada, you can call APT or your local travel agent. Until next time, take care, everyone.